Welcome to video 2 in this free 3-part series. Hi there, I'm Deborah Acker and I'm so glad to have you here today. In today's video, we are going to be talking about looking outside of yourself for value and happiness. And I am so excited to talk with you about this because it is such a common one and one that we typically take for granted. So while this can show up with our kids, it can show up with our purchases, whether we buy that car, that house, or just some name brands. Today, what I'm going to do is focus on career and relationships. So let's first start with how this might show up in your career, and let me start by asking you this. Are you the type of person who's always placed a lot of value on your title or working for a big name company? Maybe you get internal value in working long hours or just by even talking about your job. And maybe at times you've even been worried about what someone would think about you if you took a job that you perceive to be beneath you. Well, it's something we really don't think about in our society. This is so common, and we're so conditioned, even though we're human beings, to be in that conditioning of doing, which is completely understandable. So now let's look how this occurs in relationships. And I'm going to ask you if you've ever placed a lot of value on having a significant other that's really good looking, or maybe has a big title or a lot of money. Maybe you're even worried about what your friends and family might say about this person if they don't have the above. And on the flip side, you might have met someone and all of a sudden lost sight of yourself, your happiness, and what you truly desired and deserve. Do any of these sound familiar? Don't worry, I totally get it, and I've got you on how we can start to change this. The first piece, as in many cases, is just to have awareness of this. What I find helpful is just taking each category, in this case your career, and then your relationship, or your past relationship if you're not currently in one, and just start asking yourself what you've made each of these mean. Maybe you've made your VP title mean that you're not worthy or important. Maybe you've made your relationship mean that you're okay or lovable, even if you're not in the right one. And as part of this too, noticing how you show up in these areas is super important. How much time do you spend in your work and or your relationship? How do you feel when you're there with this person, and how do you feel when you're alone, and even when you're not doing these things? How much time are you spending thinking, or should I say obsessing, about these things? Also, how attached are you to that, how your coworker or significant other responds to you? Do you go into a lot of worry, fear, self-doubt if they don't respond in the way that you would like them to? And even more importantly, with the awareness of these things, how do you begin to change it and choose more of you? So my first recommendation here is to start doing regular check-ins. How am I feeling in this moment? What is coming up for me around this person's response to me, whether it's your coworkers or your significant others, and why am I responding in this way? As part of this too, write down all the things that you love about yourself. Yes, you. And also write down all the things that you love doing on your own. Maybe you love your laugh, your zest for life, your determination. Maybe you love when you have time to take that nice salt bath, read a good book, watch your favorite show, or even go for a run on the water. Take note of that. Also, the breath here can be so helpful. When you're in your triggered environment, breathing yourself in, which I know sounds cheesy but is totally true and totally works, can really help to recenter yourself and bring you back to you. The last piece I'm really going to recommend here is just setting healthy boundaries. If you are giving too much of yourself at work or in your relationship, it is time to start setting limits. Maybe your boss wants you to work overtime that night, or your boyfriend wants to get together, but you just need your me time, or you're just tired. Saying no and giving yourself permission to have this time is extremely powerful. And you know what? As you begin to recognize your value and worth, so will others. So until our third and final video, which is all about living in presence, remember you're enough just being you. Thanks again for watching, and if you're interested in working together, don't hesitate to contact me at deboraacker.com for my complimentary 30-minute discovery session.